All right, I think we're live. Welcome everybody. Scalping the NQ NY Open. Let me get a screen up. First things first. Okay, how's everyone? How's everyone's weekend? Hope everyone's doing well. Let me know if you're in the chat. I see consult 0x64 consult. Good morning. Good morning to you. How is everybody doing? Had quite a sell-off in the pre-market. Thomas, good to see you again. Weekend was great. Thank you. Good to hear. Good to hear. Hope everyone is ready for hopefully a hectic day. Look at these buyers already coming in just before the open. Right. Let's see what happens. Big buying right off the open. Oh, big buying. Damn. Look at those contracts flooding in. We're going to let it calm down though. I'm not going straight into it. But I'll show you what I'm looking at. Potentially this area here on the Nasdaq, 25,810, around there. That's an area of interest for me to potentially short the market. I want to see what happens when we get there. I've also got a different charting provider loaded up today, a platform called Go Charting. Their footprint is decent as well, but it allows double columns, so I can see a little bit more information, but I feel they're a bit slower than TradingView. TradingView kind of updates a bit quicker. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but damn, that's a lot of buying. Let's make these footprints a little bit bigger so we can see a bit more detail. All right. We're getting to that area. Let's see what happens in this area. This is an area of interest. I want to see potentially a lot of sellers overwhelm these buyers. We're getting a bit of absorption already. I might go in for a quick scalp, for a short scalp. I'm dipping my toe in only 5 minutes, not 5 minis, 5 micros. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of this wick here. Let's see if we can scalp out those buyers. We saw big absorption. Let me just check on here. Oh, I got stopped out almost instantly. That's fine. Oh, why has it done that? No. There we go. Let me know which chart you guys prefer as well. I just want to see if these sellers can take over and stop this buy pressure a bit. If not, then I'm going to start looking to start buying this market. If these buyers, they're very effective. I was hoping around that 400. Yeah, they cleared that level quite smoothly. So now the next plan of action is two things can happen, right? Well, two things originally could happen. You can either reject in this area or we can blow through it, which we did. I'm hoping a retest comes into play and then we can continue up. Okay. So Mythic Traders here. How was your weekend, Mythic? I'm just going to say Mythic rather than Mythic Trader. Easier. May I know what is your settings on fixed range? Yes, absolutely. Give me 2 seconds. So the settings, I might have to make this bigger. Essentially just up down volume, doesn't really matter. Total volume's fine as well, but just not delta. So both are pretty much, both, I'm just looking at the size of the bars, right? And row size are set to 24. You can play around with it. But yeah, those are essentially the settings. And then I just do it from that area's now created a gap. So we're going back into this area. I want to see if buyers now can hold off the sellers and then get a bit of a continuation. This could be a little false breakout, but let's see what happens. Because the buy pressure is starting to die off a bit. You can see those sellers trickling in. We'll see a bit more of a pullback. A little bit more, maybe like down to here. That's kind of what I'm hoping. Come on. Come on. The sellers keep reloading in. Not sellers, buyers. Sorry, I haven't had a coffee. I should have had a coffee before. My brain's a bit slow today. While they do their thing, I'm going to load up my cash account because I've yet to load that up. I'm going to be careful not to show it because of the brand names. I'm not allowed to show any broker, any other prop firm, because obviously I am employed by Ola Prime. So it's part of my contract, my employment contract. I can't show certain things. All right, that's loaded up. I'm going to preload potentially. What kind of size are we doing today? Let me have a look. 20 points a candle. I'll do 5 minis on my cash for now. Scale in with 5. Tom Rogers, good morning. Tom, you are always a beacon when you're here. Awesome stuff, Tom. How's your weekend? Or how was your weekend, I should say. Come on, I'm waiting for a pullback here. This is all I'm waiting for. I'm seeing a lot of buyers still coming in, but they're starting to slowly get a bit weak. Now, I don't want to fade it because we're still very much in this daily kind of range play. If I go to the daily chart, we still haven't broken out of anything. We're still very much in a range. So if I just switch it to candles so you can see it better, because you can't really see it on the footprint. But yeah, you can kind of see how the range started. You know, it was quite big originally. Up, down, and it's getting smaller and smaller. We're kind of getting squeezed into this kind of small little pinpoint area. So essentially, whenever we're at the top of, whenever we're at the top or the bottom, you kind of more want to buy at the bottom, sell at the top until we properly break out of this area, because this is still going to be chop central. As all the contracts, as all the volume gets squeezed into this little tiny point, it's always going to be chop central. You're just going to get chopped. Like, the market's just going to be mental, basically, till we break out of it. And I don't think it's going to happen today. There's no real news today. Everything is just it's a Monday. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be really like a trend yet. Do you know what I mean? We're not. Might be wrong. You never know. Today might be the day that we finally, get some kind of, something. But I'm doubtful. I still think it's going to be chop central. Choppadilly circuit. I love that. Choppadilly circuit. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Where's my footprint? Oh, there it is. Let me just reload all this. Yeah, the sellers are just having no chance at the moment. But then again, the buyers are still kind of at the top here. But why is this gray? Why have I got gray? Oh, because I highlighted the whole range, didn't I? Let's get rid of that. What I can do while we wait. Let me do 15-minute real quick. Let me just draw out any major areas. I mean, I don't think we're going to really reach them, but I'm just going to volume footprint some of the major areas. So, we're in one. Okay, cool. We're already in one. I just want to double check if it lines up with this area. Yeah, it does. There's a gap there as well. Okay. We are in an area. Well, that was good timing. See, that was good timing. Luckily, I did that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have realized we're in a potential area. Why didn't it appear on this though? Let me check. What am I doing? Oh, it is there. I didn't even see it. Frick! I really need coffee. What is wrong with me, man? It's a bit different on TradingView than, well, right, yeah, because this is tick. This volume profile is tick based. This one's volume based, so they're going to be a bit different. Oh, Robert's back. Robert Mashiro. It was good, chill. I'm about to grab enough coffee for the both of us. I'm jealous, man. I'm sidelined this morning. I activated a funded account with Ola, but it was a Project X legacy account, so they're trying to figure out what to do with it. Yeah. I get you. Okay, this is hopefully they sort it out ASAP. Waiting on a payout on another account, so just sipping and waiting. Good stuff. Robert Mashir, I haven't seen you in a while, Robert. How are things? Are you still looking for a job? All right, this area could be the rejection area. This could be it. Still not. Let me see what Go Charting is showing. Where is it? Is this it? Yeah, cool. So Go Charting is showing basically similar thing. Look at all the volume in there. Look at all that volume. I think I can go short and potentially keep a stop above that volume. I just want to see what happens here. What level was that? 8. Not yet. They got absorbed so quickly. I have a question, Sam. How will you know or find the best potential area in your 50 min to 5 min and 1 min? I will show that in a second. I'll show that in a second because I think there might be a trade any minute. I want to see what happens to these buyers right now. 200, 22. They're getting absorbed a little bit, but nothing major. They're still reloading 280, 270, 290, but they are struggling to get it higher. But lately, the buyers have been so aggressive. Even when they get absorbed quite heavily, they just come in with like another 200 contracts and just blast through. I need to see something more. Because the sellers weren't great either. They did come in a bit, but they kind of just died off. Come on, see another 400. Jeez, these buyers recently have been absolute insane. But look, they're still getting absorbed. But they're just putting so much pressure into the market that even big absorption is not holding them back these days. All right, I'm going in short because, look, if they blast through the 400, they blast through the 400, that level there. I mean, if they're just going to keep reloading it, there's not much you can do. But let me just get Go Charting up real quick. I can move this. Look at that. They're adding another 100, but they're still struggling. Like, this is normally such a good play. Like when you see volume like that, normally it's such a good play. But lately, the market has just been mental, absolutely mental. Like the buyers just won't give up. They've just been adamant, so adamant. Normally, like throughout most of the time of the year, 90% of the trading year, you would see, they're blowing, they're just able to break through those icebergs, like absolute insanity. Because normally, look, if 500 contracts struggles to break a level, that level is not breaking. Do you know what I mean? It's just not breaking because you're going to have to add so much more volume to break such a heavy level. If they can hold back 500 contracts, but the buyers are just insane right now. They have been for the last week. They've been insane. Sellers are, to be fair, they're doing all right. I just got one tick, didn't I? Motherfucker. Sorry, I shouldn't swear. I got one ticked. You absolute bastard. It's fine. It happens. But that's what happens when you're on a choppy market. Sometimes tight stops, you get one ticked. It happens. But let's see if the buyers just come back in at the bottom of this range. It might do, But yeah, we got slightly one tick. But look, buyers again, they're buying every dip available. Every time there's a dip, they're buying it up. And they've been doing that for God knows how long now. At least the last week, they've just been relentless. Let me show you. How can I do this? Actually, I'll show it in a minute. I'll show you something in a minute. Look at that. They're just piling it on. Now, you're probably wondering, so why not go long if the buyers are that aggressive? It's because it's just a shit ton of absorption. They're the least efficient side, like very inefficient, the buyers. Here's a good way of looking at this. Look at this, for example, right? So before the open, the delta was, minus 4,000 contracts on Thomas. Sammy, you on for 1 or 2 hours, or do you have an appointment? Oh yeah, shit, I do have an appointment at 4 p.m. today, so I'm on 1.5 hours, but I will try come back. On Friday, that it went on for ages. Disappointment, like it just kept going, and then by the time I was done, it was too late. Like the market was dead. So I thought, okay, it's a Friday night. No one's going to really want to trade, so it's fine. But this time, hopefully, it's not too long. Normally, they only last like 30 minutes to an hour tops, but this one just went on because this guy had internet problems, so it kept breaking. And before I knew it, 2 hours passed, and I'm still on this damn call. So yeah, it just went on. But I'll try come back after 4. I'll keep you guys updated. But as I was saying, minus 4,000 contracts, right, was the cumulative delta before the open. And that was from the start of the day to up till that point. And look how much the sellers managed to push the market down, right? They managed to push the market. Well, let's actually see where they got to the lowest part. So down here. Minus 6, right? They pushed it quite far down, yeah? All the way from, here to here with 6,000 contracts. We are now riding at, what's our contract? Positive 500. So they've done over, the buyers have done over 4,000 contracts, and they've only pushed. So the buyers are getting absorbed way more than the sellers, meaning there's a big seller still in this market for whatever reason. And that's why, even though in the last, few days, we've had this kind of squeeze, if you look on the daily, just a squeeze, and the buyers have been kind of, pushing it up, but it's not like this, they haven't actually really pushed it up in if you look at the bigger picture, that, like, don't get me wrong, the market's going up a bit, but it's not going up how it should be going considering the volume. So some entity out there is absorbing all that buy pressure because they believe there's going to be a big movement down at some point. So now, I guess as a scalper, since it's a long-term play, you can absolutely buy. But when you see that kind of level of absorption, like, do I want to buy where it, 500 contracts came in and couldn't push the market up much? It just goes against my nature. Do you know what I mean? Just the same as I don't want to sell here where all these sell contracts couldn't push it down. It goes against my nature. So we've entered essentially a bit of a range, a tight range. So we'll let them battle it out. Little annoyed I got stopped out by like a tick there. What can you do? How many more decades will it take for you to upload another video? Oh man, Sufi, I do apologize. It's not that I don't. It's just I can do like a level. You know what? I will work on a video. Probably not today because again, I'll be quite busy. But I think tomorrow I've got a lot more of a calmer day. I'll work on a video then. Because today, like, if you saw my calendar, it's freaking ridiculous, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these interviews, right? I would show it, but I don't want to, give away people's names and stuff. But 7 different, appointments. So it's been hectic. But I will work on a video, and also like lately, because we're at the beginning of the year, we're in that kind of squeeze. The market just hasn't been that clear. Like if I want to teach certain things, I want to teach it where it is more clear, because I don't want to, because right now, people will be like, oh, look, big, just chase the heavy volume. And that would work. Like, yeah, these buys just took over again. It's the same shit happening over and over for the last few days. Same thing. Absolute insanity. Damn. I really should be switching, not switching my overall bias, but I really should start recognizing that, look, it's not going to drop yet. I don't think it's dropping yet. It's not going to do it today. Chase the volume then. Chase the volume. The buyers have just been, for the last few days, they've been doing this relentlessly. Chase the volume. That might be at least for the next few days until the drop happens, and then I can go back to the typical trading, because it's just relentless right now. They're not, it wants to do it. It wants to do it. You can see it in the footprint. It wants to do it. They get absorbed. Sellers do come in, but then the buyers just buy them up. They're just buying the dip, buying the dip, buying the dip. Again, the same thing's happening. These sellers are trying to come in to squeeze out these buyers. I think exactly, Thomas. Like CPI, we might have some volatility. Yeah, hopefully CPI opens it up. I'm waiting. Like, I just want to break out of this little area. Some clean air. Honestly, it's insane how the market keeps going when the international situation is that bad. 100% agree. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be. It doesn't respond. It was even like, remember when last year, I can't remember when, but Amazon had they had some massive outage on AWS, Amazon Web Services. They had this huge outage, right? And remember, everything was down. Like every website that ran anything on AWS, which is pretty much like almost all the websites, right? Everything just went down. And naturally, what would you expect would happen to Amazon's stock price? Something that big, you could expect it to drop, right? It went up. No one could understand it. Like, what? Amazon should be losing money like crazy. They just a massive blunder. Their whole bloody AWS services is down for like almost a whole day. How is their stock price increasing? It didn't make any sense. It just didn't make any sense. And I don't know why that is. I honestly don't know why that is. I can't figure it out. Did people just buy up Amazon stock in anticipation that it's going to dip? Maybe. I don't know. It's just, it's like if a plane crash happens and Boeing's, let's say it was a Boeing plane, and Boeing's stock increases. It doesn't make any sense, right? It should it should be dropping. What? I don't know. So it's not always, I don't know. Some things are just better left unexplained. Yeah. As a French citizen, every European analyst agrees the US market is just nuts and that it's not healthy. I agree. It's overvalued massively, the US stock exchange at the moment. Overvalued massively. And everyone kind of senses the crash is coming. You know, it's been fluttering about for a while now, the talks of a crash. You know, the S&P shouldn't be this high. But yeah, you know, I think it's down to investors were always taught buy the dip, and everyone's just buying the dip. But eventually it's going to go. It's going to pop. It has to pop. Who knows when, though? But I think it's a bit shaky. I think it's getting shaky and shaky. You saw the volatility about the tariffs. That caused a 20% drop. That alone shouldn't cause that much of a drop. I know it's big news, but that was a big upset on the S&P to drop 20%. All right, it recovered very quickly. But that just shows how quick people are willing to just buy on every dip. And one day that's not going to work anymore, you know? It's just not going to work. And then that's when the real crash will happen. Since servers and internet was down, therefore everyone was stuck in it. You know what, wise guy? That probably could be it. Physically couldn't actually short the stock. You couldn't sell Amazon stock because you can. That actually makes probably the most logical sense. But I don't know. When DAX and C40, for example, healthy corrections to go higher, but NQ and SP just can't. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. Buy the dip, but the dip keeps dipping. And then you got the whole AI talk as well. The AI bubble. Like, don't get me wrong, AI is the future. I think most people can agree AI is ridiculous right now. Like, what it's capable of doing is insane. But it is also a bubble. The amount of companies that just slap on the word AI into anything. You know, companies that aren't even AI-based companies will add some kind of AI buzzword into their product. Oh, our search feature is AI powered or whatever. We have an AI assistant, AI this. Stock just shoots up. You know, they've learned AI is the new kind of buzzword. You add some AI related junk into your product, all of a sudden everyone wants to buy it, you know? It's like if I don't know, invent a coffee machine, not invent, but release a coffee machine, but it has AI inbuilt for the optimal temperature or whatever, and it can sense when you need coffee because you're tired. Oh yeah, that investors would be all over that. You know, but it's garbage. Let's be honest, it's garbage. No one needs an AI coffee machine. It's just it's faff. You know, it's rubbish. And again, that bubble will burst, just like the .com bubble. It's not that the internet wasn't the future. Of course, the internet at the time was the future. It was just overvalued. Everyone just slapped on the buzzwords and everyone bought it up. And then eventually it has to correct itself. And that's going to happen with AI as well. But again, when? Who knows? Buyers want 26K on NQ today. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, it got so close to 26K. Where was it? I'm pretty sure we got, you know, 15 points from 26K. They're probably a little bit pissed. I wouldn't be surprised if it hits 26. You're absolutely right. AI is the new bubble. It is. AI coffee tastes great. I mean, it might be good. It might be good. I wouldn't be surprised if it's already been out there. AI coffee. Cody says, my clothes washer has an AI load setting. Not sure that it's anything different than exactly my point. Like, why does your washing machine need AI? Absolute rubbish. This AI garbage. We're starting to range again. I just want to check the cumulative. The cumulative is looking more in the favor of the buyers right now. The sellers are weaker. Because we had 1.4. Yeah, I should be buying at this moment in time, because it's quite balanced. Actually, no. We went up to 1.7 here. It's very balanced. We started the range at 1.4. We're pretty much at 1.4. Well, at 1.4 now as well. So there's an equal amount of buyers and sellers, and we've gone sideways. So it's actually very balanced, the market. There's been a few little dips here and there, but nothing. So it's either one's game right now. It's buyers or sellers. Ideally, let me just check on the volume profile if there's anything. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of areas. Look at that. There's a beautiful area. Oh, shit, we touched it already. I really got to be focusing here. What level was that? 911. 911 up here. Yeah, this is not looking bad for a short potentially, but we are at the bottom of the range. I kind of want it to go a bit higher up and get in. The sellers are struggling. They're still getting. Oh, that's good. That instant, that was decent. That was very nice. I just want to see a bit more confirmation. See what buyers reloaded again. Oh, are they struggling? Let's just keep. This is an interesting. Nah, they got it. It's just every time it looks like they're about to break, they come in again. They come in again. Every time. Absolutely relentless, these buyers. Yeah, they've just come in. For a few seconds there, this was looking good, this little cluster here. Again, it's looking quite good. Look at that. That's looking great. But look at that. Instantly, the buyers came in again. They're not giving up. That's why we have this nasty price action right now. You know, there is a nice, look at that. Oh, sellers blew right through them. But now normally, again, 300 contracts out of nowhere, 400, 500 from the buyers. This is dangerous. It's so dangerous to trade because they could just pop in out of nowhere. They're not even. It's just insanity, these buyers. Absolute insanity. Because genuinely, on the normal throughout the year when the market's a bit more normal, you don't have that happen. Like seeing 500 contracts on a single price level is rare. Like, all extreme situations, like okay, you might see it once in a while, but look, they fail. But the problem is now, while normally, yeah, this is a short, get in short. The problem is, are they just going to jump in with another look, 100 contracts instantly absorbed? Now they're dropping out, those buyers, right? They're getting out the market. You can see them all getting essentially stopped out. But how much longer until they just buy it up again? So I would say if you're gonna short this market, you have to have. You can't wait for extensions. You just have to take a few points in and out. You got to really micro scalp this because it's just too dangerous. Because it could be traveling okay, and then out of nowhere, some buyer enters 400-500 contracts, and boom, gone. Whereas normally, and very, like, I've throughout the year, like take last year, last year was a hectic year for the market. You don't get that kind of extreme aggression out of nowhere. Like, you get it in obvious areas sometimes, like if you're at a really, important high or important low, like a really obvious area that of course is going to, have some reaction, then yeah, all right, you'll see big volume come in. But a random, like, okay, we're at a, previous high, but it's only a 1 minute high. It's not really that big of a deal. Do you know what I mean? It's not really that big of an area to warrant someone jumping in 582 contracts. It's just insane. Every dip they're buying. They don't care if it's 2-point dip, they're buying it. If it's a 5-point dip, they're buying it. Madness, absolute madness. Trying to figure out a game plan here. Because that spooks me, man. That really does spook me. Stuff like that spooks me. Because it's chaotic. It's not controlled behavior. It's chaotic behavior. It's like having being in a fight with an absolute nut job. You don't know if this guy is going to, gouge your eyes out or if he's going to play fair. Like, it's just chaotic. Have you took the trade today? I took a few, like, very tiny micro trades, nothing big, but essentially got stopped out. Like, I took one here and then got stopped out there because of the choppiness. But I'm waiting for these buyers to kind of give up a little bit, have a normal kind of pullback, and then we can have a bit more of a trade, or vice versa, have sellers give up. So the sellers are still very adamant at getting this down as well. Can you explain logic of your trade? Sure. So the logic is always down to market efficiency, essentially, right? So, all right, the trade I took earlier, it was this 500. At the time when we were there, it wouldn't go any higher, but there was 500 buy contracts additionally on the delta added. So there's obviously a big seller in the book somewhere here, whatever price level it was, taking the other side of the trade with a much bigger order than 500. So their order is larger than 500. Does that make sense? It's the only way. And then obviously the seller, would have pulled their order at some point. But it just had this little spike, and then, it moved down. Now, my stop was just a little bit too tight. My stop was just above here. It literally one ticked me. What can you do? But here, look. This right now, what I'm seeing is just chop central right now. This is nasty, because you can trade it, but you're gonna have to have a huge stop. But then the momentum can switch so quickly, and you can see it in the candles. It's not clean. Look at the wicks of each candle. The range is just going up and down, up and down. If you just kind of squint your eyes and try not to look at the body too much, just look at the top of the wick to the bottom of the wick. It's just, it's not clean, and you can see it again in the footprint. It's not clean. There's too much. Neither side is winning. Momentarily, the sellers are able to push it down a bit, but they're not. I wouldn't call this like the sellers have won at all. Like, the sellers are still struggling as much as the buyers are struggling. No one is winning. If you were to enter here, realistically, it would be more of a coin flip than anything else. Because there hasn't been any kind of decisive move Like this could be a decisive move for the buyers, right? Like if they come in and we get a few clean candles, all right, that's going to be quite interesting. Then you can say those buyers in that area, the sellers eventually gave up. These buyers might be efficient, but it's still not clean. You know, they're adding volume, they're trying, but the sellers again, you can see they're being absorbed. They're adding contracts, but it's just not going in their favor. I feel recently market open has just been too hectic. It's been better to trade later on, a couple of hours after, let the market calm down, and then I've noticed the market's just been a bit more responsive, a bit better to trade, because all the kind of initial chaos kind of calms down. All right, we had like a full blast at the open up, but that happened so quick. You know, there's I would say three ways the market can open. It can even open like this, where it just blows in one direction and kind of goes for a while. It can open just completely ranging, up, down, with no direction. Or it can do kind of the V-shaped reversal open, where it goes very quickly in one direction and instantly dumps in the other direction, or vice versa, obviously. So trying to trade the open, literally the open candle, is again, take your bet, because it happens so quick. It could happen, you know, either of those three situations can happen, and yeah. And realistically speaking, the slippage you get when you, even if you try to get out or enter, you get huge slippage. It's just too mental to trade the complete open. Usually you want it to calm down for a bit, and then the market kind of levels out. But what we haven't really had it calm down. It's just chaos. These really tight ranges where it doesn't actually go anywhere. I would be more in the favor still of the sellers at this moment in time, just in this last little few minute range that we had, because we started it at 1,000 buy contracts cumulative. We're now at a little bit over 1,000. Now we're back to 1,000 again. It's purely balanced, perfectly balanced. Hence why it's not going anywhere. Perfect balance in the market. We are right at the point of control from the opening move up. Aha. Are we? Let me have a look, see. Let me just turn that on. Okay, yeah. Sometimes it updates a bit differently, but I can see how that's the point of control. Yeah. Let me switch that off. Well, this has been filled. There's another little one there, but let me just add this here. What I do want to see is, has this been... Oh, there was one thing I saw as well on TradingView. I was playing around with it. I think it was TradingView. Yeah, I can do extend right. So I don't have to keep dragging it. I didn't realize you could do that. So I'm going to do that as well. Extend right. There we go. All right, now I don't have to keep dragging it. Makes it a hell of a lot easier to trade. We were a couple of minutes ago. Aha. Yeah, see, this area has been well and truly filled now. There is no more gaps ahead. We've only got that one little one. Whether it will hold, I don't know. I really don't know. 5-minute chart. Yeah, look, I'm just not seeing I'm not seeing clarity. I'm not seeing any clarity. Look at this. Again, buyers added volume, sellers came back in, trying to push. It's just, we've got to wait. There's nothing we can do. We just have to wait for them to figure this out. What can we do? We'll just check out, go charting here. See if there's any big chunks of volume anywhere. It's looking pretty much the same. Nothing spectacular. Again, sellers coming in. It's getting absorbed. Trying again. One second. I'm waiting. Anchored. So just because I can trade doesn't mean that there is anything to trade. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's this moment of time, I don't think there's anything. Even on the longer, like 15 minute. I mean, I didn't recheck the 15 minute, but again, see the problem with the 15 minute. All these sellers trapped. Obviously, they're out the market already. So that's a good buy signal, essentially. But then it's almost looking like the buyers are getting trapped. They're just piling up in this area, not really going anywhere. You can see that the buyers are generally the stronger. Like even on the 15-minute candle, I mean, it's technically bearish, but I would say it's more of a doji. It's kind of just dead in the middle at the open. But there is more buy volume in that candle. So the buyers are less efficient than the sellers. It's a divergence, essentially. And it doesn't mean it's going to go down. Normally, it's quite a good indicator, if that makes sense. Quite a good signal to kind of, okay, divergence is good. But in this market, at this moment in time, because we could go down a few points, don't get me wrong, like we just did a couple of candles. Right? We could even go down here, but then buyers come out of nowhere and boom, all of a sudden, gone. And while that's always a risk at any time, it's more, especially in the last week and a half, it's been like that. The volume coming in, it's just been disgusting from the buyers. I'm in a holding pattern, Tom Rogers says. Good. Anchored volume profile in the long short position tab and start at open candle, puts current volume on the right side showing current point of control. Sorry, 1 minute. Anchored volume profile. Oh, okay. The anchored. Yeah. I know what you mean. The actual. It puts it on the right side. I know what you mean. This one. Yeah. Where is it? Oh, shit. I drew it wrong. 1 second. That's VBUC. Where is it? Anchored. Here it is. And then you can do it like that. Yeah. I mean, that is actually quite useful, to be fair. Actually, yeah, I quite like that. Because before, when I had the anchored, it would always like my candle would go into it, and then it annoyed me if I didn't keep moving. But I guess that actually that kind of helps. We just check the 24. Just make it 100. I don't need the value area right now. That's actually quite a good tip there. Thank you, Gangster Garbear. Yeah, it's true. I don't have to keep scrolling. You're right. Yeah, I might start using that actually. I quite like it. But let me actually set it to the right area where I want to measure, because I want to measure from there. Where is it? There it is. Anchored volume. Cool. Beautiful. Yeah, so this is still very much a gap. Still very much a gap. I don't actually have to look at the Project X version now, because that version, yeah, I mean, it's obviously the same because I've measured it the same. So, all right, cool. I can just look at the trading view one. Makes it a bit easier. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Look at these sellers coming in again. It's really flipping the efficiency. One minute the buyers are better, next minute sellers are better. Wake up. Do something. Hey, welcome to the boring part of trading. Yeah, this is the worst. When you sit there and do nothing. Oh, okay. Look, 240. Okay. 250 contract. They're not putting it down. This is just this whole region. It's disgusting. No one's giving up here. Everyone is fighting. UE5 says, hey, Sammy, quick question. On a 50K combined account, funded and combines, how many micros would you recommend risking? I trade pretty much the same way you do. Much love. Like, to pass an evaluation, truth be told, like, it depends, like, because you want to pass it quick, right? If you want to pass it quick, full, maybe not full port, but you can go into the minis, and if you blow an evaluation, who cares? Just because they're relatively cheap, right? Get to the funded stage quick. But once you're funded, like, it depends on how much the market's moving. But normally, I would start with like 1 micro. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but then if, like, I like the trade. So for example, say I want to short it here. I don't want to short it here right now because it's not looking good for a short. But say hypothetically, I want to short it here. I'll add 1 micro. I'm like, okay, I'll wait a bit. I'll see what's going on. I'll obviously have my stop. If I get stopped out quickly, no big deal. It's only 1 micro. But say now it starts going in my favor and I can start seeing more sellers come in and everything's looking good. It's starting to get efficient. I'll add on the orders. And all right, add another few micros, pile it on, and try ride that wave down. So you're just breaking up. See, this is not actually looking bad now, but instant absorption again. So yeah, but I would say like maximum 5 micros if you want to, because on really choppy days, using that method, there's 2 ways you can do it. Obviously, if you're, Jesus, look at this, 300. If you're more, because I trade differently on my cash account compared to the Ola Prime account. Sorry, 1 second. This is looking interesting. See, I want to short it, but I just know these damn buyers are going to come in again. All that buy pressure stuck at the top. Just want to see how effective these sellers are. 90, 100. They're not great either. 140. They're getting pushed up. It's not ready. Yeah, it's just not ready. They were getting pushed up even though they're adding contracts. It looks like the buyers are just keep buying the dip, buying the dip, buying the dip. It's just no point. Back to what I was saying. Look at that, and the sellers are trying. Yeah, it's crazy. What was I saying? Sorry. Yeah, it depends on how you trade it as well. Like my cash account, I tend to only take like 1 or 2 trades maximum a day, and I'm very selective with the trades that I do take. But therefore, I'm also trading like my first position is 5 minis, and I'll go up to like potentially 20 minis in my cash. So it feels a lot more, if losing that is a lot more painful than losing in the prop account. So I'm a lot more careful with that. But I use the prop account to kind of scratch my itch as well, because it's lower risk. Why not? If it looks half decent, okay, I might as well dip my toe in. Why not? Take it in. So I take a lot more trades on the prop account. But if you're trading like the prop account, like very sort of, strict, really strict rules, only once you see, buyers trapped here and sellers are effective and pushed it below and the buyers drop out, only then would you enter. Then, yeah, you can probably add a bit more size. But if you're trading it like I do, where it's, you're, let's be honest, a bit more risky in your play, then yeah, I would lower it down. So you have to lower it because you need to be able to lose at least 10 trades in a row without really, hurting your account essentially. As much as I would like a trade, I'm not willing to risk anything on a low probability setup. Yeah, see, Tom is you're very strict, aren't you, Tom? You're like super strict with your the way you trade, which is great. Like I said, I do it the same on my cash. It just feels more real to me. Why is there no Ola Prime stream? Ahmed, we did do for ages, but just the numbers weren't there, man. We pumped a lot of money into it, and just the viewership wasn't there, and we're not sure why. So we decided each individual coach can kind of stream on their own and see how that's working out. So any discount code for Ola Prime? All the discounts are in Discord. So if you go to the website, join the Discord, there's a button on the front page. There's a section basically with all like discount codes, any promotions running, all in the Discord. So that's where you can find like discount codes. Okay. It seems like sticking to the opening range, orb 15 high. Yeah. Yeah, it's really just sticking up there, isn't it? It kind of broke out a little bit. But I've seen this happen so many times. Everything is itching me to sell still. I know that sounds mental. Wait, what is the cumulative? Let me just check real quick. Let me make this bigger. I can see it. Where shall I start? Yeah, look at that. We've added an extra 1,000 contracts to the buy side in this little push up. An extra 1,000 buyers came in, and we got how many points out of it from the buyers? Just this little push up. I can't see it. 60 points, which isn't that much for NQ. But they are still they're just relentless. They're not stopping. Normally they give up. They just say, all right, this ain't working. And then, the buy pressure just stops, and then it can move the market. But no one's giving up. The sellers aren't giving up. Buyers aren't giving up. Eventually, the sellers or buyers will obviously give up. Someone has to give. This is looking nice, actually. Them trapped at the top there. I really like that. I really like that for a short. I just want to double check that it doesn't go back there and they just add more contracts. Come on. 140 on there. Sellers are coming in. Come on. See, let's just keep buying it up. They keep buying it up. For a few seconds, it was looking nice, but it just... I do like it when I see like that instant absorption. Instant one. You know, when you just see, like, for example, it happened here, like 140. This is not looking bad. This is not looking bad. Because look, just in the last few candles, an extra 150 buy contracts came in. It feels like the squeeze is happening, but it could also pop. If these buyers come in hard, it can pop up. And normally I'd have a stop quite tight, but it's so choppy, it could just stop me out very quickly, like one tick me. So I'm just waiting a few more seconds to see that some kind of confirmation, something. Ah, shit, I missed it. Ah, we're already down. Fuck. Happened so freaking quick. It's all right. It's all right. It might... I don't want to chase it here. Now my stop has got to be way too big. It was in this area. I just started seeing it, but I wanted to wait a little bit longer just to see some kind of confirmation, something a bit more clearer. Let's see. If we get back into that area, what happens? Come on. 43, 26. Buyers are buying it up again. The sellers are defending that heavy volume. I could have a stop above that big candle. If I'm wrong, all right, I'm going in. I can have a stop, you know, quite high up here. It's not an ideal place. I wish I had a bit of a better price. Just because I feel these buyers are starting to defend, but the moment these sellers, the moment these damn sellers come back, not sellers, buyers, sorry, the moment these buyers just decide to come back in, because look, they're not giving up. They're refusing to give up. They're adamant. But I need these sellers to hold here, just defend. You know, you're... Hold them back. Hold them back. I'm just going to read some of the comments here. There will be one more push to 25,950, then down. I hope it comes after. I don't want it now because I'm in a short. Hopefully not. Sam, the proper term is fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks, that is the term. Took a quick 250 on that short. Oh, perfect. I'm glad you caught it, Thomas. I was being a bit too cautious. And this is the thing. This is why being very cautious and kind of waiting in a market like this, sometimes you just have to front run it a bit. It's looking a bit better now. Now that, you know, the sellers... But it was really... Here was the kind of moment. I should have gone more with my gut and just entered. But it's fine. But realistically speaking, if the buyers come back in, I'm just getting out, because am I expecting a huge kind of, you know, push down? I'd love it. It would be great. But, you know, I know at any moment a buyer could come in with 500 contracts and wipe me out. And I just don't... I got to just micro scalp this now, which is annoying. So I want extension. I want a proper move. Because realistically speaking, we've got these lows here. I'm expecting something in these lows. At least get me to these lows, at very least. Let's see what happens. 60. See, they're already getting bullish. Buyers are coming in. I'm just going to see if they're effective. All right, it's good. The sellers are trading below them. All right, that's good. But keep pushing it down now. Let's not let them out. That's it. Trade below that 45. They're adding more 50. We're dropping them down a bit. 38, good. They're reloading. They're holding them back with relatively small contracts, the buyers, which is not good. We give it a few more seconds. They're still holding back the sellers with relatively small numbers. 100, 200. I'm getting out. I'm not even messing with 200. This is just stupid. They come in every 10 minutes. They're coming in. Ahmed, I explained. We used to have the Ola Prime TV, but we just weren't getting viewership. So we had to exit, man. Hello. I've still got time. I just saw we trapped a low volume node and big sellers came in, so I pulled the trigger. Perfect. Perfect. Hello to you, Taran. Nah, Thomas, good stuff. Good you went with your gut there and stuck to it. I should have done the same, man. I should have done the same. But it's fine. I got a bit. I would have got a better price, but it's fine. But again, just look. We barely moved. And the buyers just bought the dip again. They're not giving any breathing room. Insane. 300 there, another 100, another 160. Point of control's moved up now. Or was it up? Yeah, it's moved up to here. Literally just happened. Absolute insanity, this market, man. Any plans for different platforms for futures after X down NinjaTrader? So, yes, we have now DX Futures, a platform. I think there are more. I need to double check, but there are. I forgot which ones. Part of my job is actually to create a tutorial on how to use them. So, I'm just waiting for. I can't find a message, but there are other NinjaTrader. I don't think we have, if I'm honest. But I heard talk within the management. They're looking at getting NinjaTrader, but NinjaTrader is I don't know. It's a bit difficult apparently to get for whatever reason, but it's not my department. I don't work in that side of the business. So, but yeah, if you just follow us on social media, you're gonna like at the moment something's announced, you'll see it. But yeah, we are getting more platforms, so 100%. Vishnu, yo, bro, yo to you, man. How are you doing, my friend? What is this dark area? What did I draw that for? I actually forgot why I drew that. Oh, it was a gap, but it's not anymore. So I can get rid of that. No needed. All right, cool. Yeah, we just got this one gap that's kind of holding a bit. Truth be told, the way these buyers are coming in, it's just relentless, these buyers. I wonder where we are in terms of how high up in the daily. Yeah, we're still very much, we're kind of, we're still being squeezed. Yeah, we're still very much being squeezed down to this point. It's not perfect, but you can kind of see it, happening. We have had that kind of breakout, so I think a lot of buyers are breaking out, but it could very well be a false breakout. We are, we're still very much in that area. Although technically we broke out. I mean, we did it the other day as well. We broke out, right? This wick at this time, at that point, we were up there, it would have looked like a breakout, and then look, instantly back down. So it's nothing is nothing's confirmed. I truly wouldn't count it a real breakout until we kind of trade a bit higher up, at least on the daily. But the amount of sellers absorbing passively,